Maher, looking at the African qualifiers, all of the first ones to get through, it's all your part of the world, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
do we
exactly.
explain such a thing?
Well, the first four teams to qualify, as you mentioned, that in Morocco was number one, Tunisia was number two, and then Algeria and Egypt qualified this window. How do we explain it? First of all, I think when you talk about longer formats of qualifying, like in this particular format, we had 10 matches all in one group. That's pretty unprecedented in Africa. Usually we have a group of four and then we have a playoff because we only had the five spots. This time around, we have, of course, nine and a half. So we had nine groups of six, and we had those sort of pot four teams. So we had Seychelles in this qualifying. We had Eswatini, Lesotho, teams that usually never make it this deep into qualifying. So I'm saying all this to say that when you have this extended version of qualifying, first of all, like the way you manage travel, the way you manage infrastructure, all of that becomes very much a factor. And so we to think about Morocco. I think Morocco, of their eight matches, because one of their teams, Eritrea, dropped out, so they only played eight matches instead of 10. I think they played
Do you
six
mean
of them at home.
Eritrea? Eritrea.
Yeah, you missed
It's just
you
another
missed
Panama.
Joe. Yeah, you missed Joe Gould's archipelago moment.
I've been saying that a lot this week because Cape Verde qualified, but um, yeah, so Morocco, I think, played six of their eight matches at home. South Africa, not a North African country, but South Africa played seven out of their 10 matches at home during these qualifiers. Algeria played six. So because they have good infrastructure, if you'll come up against a side like a Somalia, for example, which doesn't have a homologated stadium, to save costs, they'll accept an invitation from their opponent, saying, we'll pay for your flight, we'll pay for your hotel, we'll pay for everything. Just come on and play against us. Your home match, make it an away match against us, and
That's
it
wrong,
tends to
isn't it?
work in
That's
Africa. It
wrong.
is.
That
It
interferes
messes
with
with
the
the integrity.
integrity of the whole thing. It's wrong. I
100%,
didn't know that
100%.
happened.
But it happened a lot. Like I would say, maybe 50% of qualifiers were played in Morocco this time around. Because even if Morocco wasn't, a team wasn't playing in Morocco's group, they would be hosting. They have memorandums of understanding with I think 30
Mm.
federations, where they just because they want to be a footballing superpower, they want to build on the soft power, on the sporting diplomacy. They allow anybody to come and play. So on any international break, there could be 6 to 7 World Cup qualifiers taking place in Morocco. So infrastructure, football management becomes much of a bigger factor, and as a result, home field advantage as well. And as a result, I think the North African nations. I don't like to make sweeping generalizations, but they tend to be richer. Those four nations that we mentioned, if you go GDP per
Mm.
capita, I think besides Egypt, they're all in the top 15, top 10. Uh, all of that makes a difference.
Do you think? Because my older brother, that you met over the phone, Tim, he now lives in Morocco, so he's enjoying all of this. In fact, he's probably watching us right now because he messaged me the other day to say that he was watching the Brazilian Shirt Name podcast the other day. Do you think when Morocco clearly are the brand leaders for Africa now,
They're,
footballing
they're
wise?
in the under-20 World Final. It's
There you go.
Argentina against Morocco on Sunday in Chile. Is
Yeah.
this also a product of the French and the Dutch diaspora?
They do a better job uh, than any other African federation in sort of integrating, recruiting players from the diaspora, even at the youth levels. So even at the under 17, under 20 level, you find players that are born in Amsterdam and so on and so forth. But still, they had about half their starting lineup that's produced locally by their central academy called the Mohammed Six Academy. And this is something that was built by public funding. They bring in some of the best young football coaches to sort of develop talent there as well. And even if you go through the senior national team, many of them, Neef Agard, former West Ham, currently at Olympique Marseille, Asdin Unahi, currently at Girona, formerly of Marseille as well, Youssef Nasiri, played at Sevilla, Fenerbahce, no less than 4 or 5 starters are actually from this Mohammed Six Academy. So again, talk about infrastructure, talk about
Mhm.
development, and just a political will. You realize how important that is because Morocco is not the richest country in Africa, but I think when it comes to a political will, uh, sporting diplomacy is central to how they think they're going to develop their country, and as a result, I think we see the positive results on the pitch.
Yeah, I was wondering if, and no doubt, the king of Morocco, who's loved, he's actually loved by his people, because I went around Morocco. I couldn't find. Obviously, people aren't going to go out and demonstrate openly, maybe against the. But it seemed like he was loved by his people, and he'll benefit from the World Cup being co-hosted there, amongst other things. But I do wonder whether Morocco is, flying off, leaving the rest of football in Africa behind it as a representative or as the main poster country for football in Africa, whether it's bringing the other countries along to the extent that we see a better or we see unexpectedly good performances from Africa as a result of what Morocco did in the last World Cup and also what they're doing now as well in terms of football? Or are they just going their own way ahead of everybody else?
I think both answers. I think they're sort of well on their way. They're trailblazing. They're far ahead of everybody else. At the same time, um, people see this as an example now because, like I said, they're not the richest country. And other countries in the past, like Gabon, for example, or Equatorial Guinea, they've had the political will, the economic capital to try and put in place a footballing project. Gabon hosted the AFCON twice, in 2012 and 2017. They The problem is that the money, the funds, the ideas were not managed correctly. I remember the former president paying Lionel Messi $3 million to come and just for a photo opportunity. He came for I think 24 hours or 48 hours. He put the first stone I think down for one of the stadiums, or maybe it was a footballing academy, and he was off in $3 million in his pocket.
I
That's a
could do
waste of
that.
funds. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll do
yeah,
for less.
we'd have done that for half the fee, wouldn't we?
Well, mate, I'd have done that for 1 millionth of the fee.
So I think what Morocco's
Three
shown people is
dollars.
okay when the money is spent. They're spending a lot of money, but when it's spent in intelligent fashions, when you have the right people managing it, as well as the quality. They are a football mad country. They do have the talent in the diaspora. All the ingredients are there, and I think that's why they're sort of pulling ahead.